Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. I've been asked to show how to replace a bail spring on a 308 Mitchell, so I'll take you through that. This one's a partial reel. It had something going on inside here, missing a few parts. It's in my project tray. One of these days I'll get around to it, but I thought I would use this one to show you how to do that. So I always like to replace the bail spring by removing the rotor. It just makes it easier for me to do that. So in order to remove the rotor, you have to take out the axle shaft. In order to take the axle shaft out, you have to remove the cover. There's a cross block and pin. You pull the pin, pull the axle shaft, and then you can get up top to remove the rotor. So I have a little tool here. It's a Mitchell tool. It's basically just a socket with a little screwdriver T-bar up top that you can manually remove this rotor nut. But if it happens that you have don't have one of these, use a deep socket, but you do need to use a socket to get that off because of the ridge on the case. Once you do that, take the nut off, hold the shaft, spin the reel because it is a threaded shaft. It's going to get you the rotor off the case. And then what I do is I remove everything. So I'm going to take the block off here. If any of you do it differently, always open the comments. This is the way I do it. I'm going to remove the trip mechanism. In this case, this trip mechanism is not working very well, so it needs to be cleaned anyway. You'll notice the orientation of the spring. You'll notice that I'm putting my pieces and parts into a parts tray. I'm going to grab that spring with a needle nose pliers. You can see the spring. Notice that the tab is down on the spring. Then we can remove the little trip lever. Get it out of the way. And it has to be fished out a little bit. It's kind of weird in terms of how they do that, but eventually that comes out. This one's full of dirt and junk. That's probably one of the reasons why. So take a cloth or something else, take steel wool, take a wire brush, whatever you're comfortable cleaning with. There's a piece of steel wool. Get the dirt off of there because the dirt will impede the operation of this. Put that in the case. I'm going to also hit the case with some WD-40 type product. In this case it's CRC Power Lube. Pull that down, get all that debris and junk out of the case. I'm using a paper towel to do that. But again, if there's dirt in there, this can do nothing but clog this up. And that's why it won't fire properly when you go to do that. Okay, and then I take the bail off. I start by the non-spring side, and I'm guessing in this case it either has a broken spring or it has no spring in it. I remove that. Then I'm over on the other side, removing the trip lever side, and we have a broken spring. So let's go ahead and grab that out of there. And you'll notice on these springs, this is a 5-level spring. This is a 3-level spring. Apparently on the back of these, yes, okay. So if you have your spring and you need to order the spring, notice that it says Made in France 5. That's kind of maybe hard to see, but the 5 tells you that you have a 5-loop spring as opposed to the 3-loop spring that I had on the table. So I'm going to go pause right now. I'm going to get myself a 5-loop spring. I think I have one of them available. Okay, by luck I was able to find the proper spring. I'm going to take that one out of the equation. The spring broke the little tab that belongs in the hole here for the bail. Again, let's just clean that up a little bit while we're at it. And so here's what I do. So the biggest issue with this usually is that you have a block here that stops the bail from coming back. So what you want to do is take that straight edge, insert that into the bail body, and then take the bail all the way back, well beyond what it would normally reach, and get that little stud into the hole in the bail. And you're going to see here, this is the key mechanism we're talking about. So get that into the bail, and then bring this over. That's why I take this off, because it's a dexterity thing with me. Alright, so we're in the block, and then you need to raise the... It's kind of hard to see, I know. I apologize. Okay, you should be clear on all regards now. Let's just try and get this started. So let's just do that again, because it's to everybody's advantage to see that. So we have the block is sitting back here, we have the stud is through there, and we have the flat line is through the other place. So let's just take it off again. So you have the cavity, you have a flat part of your spring. That flat part of your spring you can see is resting inside the cavity. I'm not trying to make this magic, I'm trying to do this so that everybody can see it. Backed way off. So you're going in the opposite way that the bail would normally work. Bringing it down so that you clear the little block thing. Again, for me with this camera and everything, it's tough. Take the glove off. I need more grasp. Then you need to just hold pressure while you load that spring retainer, the screw. Okay, then we should have it now. So it's working, but it's not tightened, so bring that down to tighten that. Okay, now we just have to reinstall the catch mechanism underneath. And we have to install the back of this. So I might as well put the back of this on while I have that done. Okay, you just want to tighten that side up then. Make sure that it continues to snap. Okay, so then we want to get this back in. This is the bottom side of the catch. So that goes through the hole in the side plate. So you have the top side mount, little address, and then we have the spring assembly. Remember, this was the toggle that went on the short side, the long arm wrapped on the other side. So almost that. So that's how the spring sits. And then it's just a matter of aligning the holes. And putting that screw in there. So you align the hole. guess I'm making this more difficult than it really is. Okay, so it took a little bit of getting, but it's got. Yeah, so there you go. So that's why people don't like doing these. It's just kind of a crazy way to do it. But the little knob here is going to be the trip. It'll get pushed out underneath here. But that's it. Okay, so again, let's just review. We had took this side off, took the whole rotor off, took this side off, took this side off, found the spring. This is a different spring, but we found the spring that had the flat side and the pointed side. The flat side runs in a channel. You can actually see it as you look inside here. The pointed side goes into the hole that's in the bail. We took the trip mechanism off by removing the screw. The spring has a flat side tag on this side and it has a right angle tag on this side. We removed the screw, the spring, and the assembly so that the trip lever was out of the way when we went to set the bail. We relaxed the bail completely so that it was beyond the stud on here so that we could set the point inside the bail arm without any pressure. And then we slowly walked it over so that the tag end here would clear the stop base here on the rotor. And when we got that over, we held the position. May not have been as visible as we would have liked. We held the position of the bail over the screw holes so that we could put the mounting screw in. Once we had the bail operating, we needed to reinstall the trip lever. We did that by putting the top of the angle through, and that's easy enough to confuse what is high and low, but we put the high side through. We rotated it through the side here so that we had it properly positioned. We installed the spring, flat tag to this side, right angle tag below, and then held all accordingly while we could mount the screw in there, and then tighten the screw down. So now we have an effective bail and trip lever. And we also made a note while we were doing this that if you see the number 5 under your rotor, that's the 5-spring coil. There's a 3-spring and a 5-spring coil. You need to make sure that you have the right coil for that bail mount. So that's it. Wow. I told you I needed to work my courage up at the beginning to do this. I can do it, but I don't like doing it. But that's how you do it. And for those of you that are interested in that, I hope that's worked out well for you. In the meantime, please stay well, stay safe as we continue to do these pandemic projects. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. If you have questions regarding a reel repair, even if it's not this specific reel, let me know and I'll try and work out examples or guide you through the process to make your reel work properly. And with that, if you have a reel like this that needs to be repaired and you find yourself intimidated by something like this, drop me a note to my email, which is on my business card at the end of this video, and I'll try and help you. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.